Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, Chaotic Amateurs listeners. This is Ron Swanson telling you to go to awesomedice.com. You get 15% off of your order. My suggestion to you, to be economically savvy, is to get a group. Maybe you're the DM. Who knows? Get multiple people. Order this from a website, from the internet.com, and then use the promo code chaotic to get 15% off of your order. You will, of course, always get 15% off of your order using that promo code, but to be fiscally responsible, use chaotic at checkout in a big group. Until then, good afternoon, good day, good evening, and please bring me all of your bacon and eggs.
In a vast landscape full of adventurers, you are now listening to the world of Chaotic Amateurs.
You've already tasted it. All right.
And welcome back to Chaotic Amateurs, D&D's, the Internet's, iTunes' #1 5e Play podcast. I am your host and DM for the Season 3, Bentley Michaels. And to my right, I have...
Caleb as Cinder Darkloft.
Dash as Peleus Ian Earth.
Rhett as Durak Dragonsbane.
Milo's Run.
And last time, ladies and gentlemen, our heroes had a little bit of a sailing adventure. They got drunk together, and Peleus stuck his staff, in the in the wheel and kept them going. They were on their way to the landmass of Boglait. They arrived there. And they spent a good amount of time of parking their ship and then trying to booby trap it against someone stealing it.
Oh, yeah.
And Peleus, let's see, he was going to do like a fake anchor. And so if someone tried to take it, it would just, rip something off of the ship and make it start sinking. Durak and Ren were trying to place a cannon underneath the steering wheel downstairs. And they were trying to devise how many lamps worth of time they would need on this island. I believe it was 23 they decided on, in which each lamp, once it burned out, would knock over into the next one like dominoes, and then eventually get to the wick and set it off and destroy the ship if they had not come back yet.
That's brilliant.
And then,
I think that's genius.
And then I just put like a glyph of warding. Right?
Yeah.
I think that was when we
and then I
decided.
realized, I have a way better solution than home aloneing our own ship.
I like to think of it more like jigsawing.
There's a 90% chance that we are going to forget about all the traps and just end up blowing ourselves up.
Right, because also didn't we like attach a rope to outside and like there was all like, so if the ship moved.
That's what Peleus was trying to do. But then he was just like, wait a minute. Yeah. Magic user, baby. And
so
he got his glyph.
We carefully put all the fire away from the cannons.
Yeah, you guys put everything back. And now the landmass of Boglait. This major landmass was under the guidance and protection of Sidset, Lady of the Yellow. However, like the other dragons since Zarvog's last reign of terror, she has only been seen occasionally in the last 1,000 years, randomly flying over, this village or that. She's almost like spotting or seeing a UFO, a kind of, sure you saw her. Boglait is the northwestern landmass of the major four, with the way Doania, the planet you are on, slightly tilts towards the sun it circles. This part of the planet consistently gets the most sun and is usually the warmest and most humid of the four major landmasses. It has been known mainly as a landmass inhabited by goblins originally, While there is a wide variety of creatures that take residence here now, this is where goblins and orcs and other such beings of that type likely originated from back in the First Age. As Versberg was predominantly dwarven, Lorelin was elven originally, where Elsarin was mainly a human landmass, in origin. Boglait is also known for its precious metals, stones, and exotic fabrics. The climate here is unique. Think visually the Grand Canyon meets the rainforest. On the outer edges, it is mostly dirt, rock, and dry, but as you make your way more towards the center of the landmass, it becomes more dense with foliage, tropical, and humid. A landmass that usually has traditionally kept to itself and just did the work in order to help the world and provide what was needed globally, has seemingly over the last 50 years or so somewhat abruptly shut itself off from the world. The goods and services that have always been a fair price are now more expensive and harder to get, which is why so many of the people you encounter either charge a lot for things that you've dealt with so far in the adventure, or they deal in trade. Boglait also has the distinction of being the only landmass where the entire landmass is elevated completely out of the water. As you remember, you entered and parked your ship in a cave like a garage. These parts of the landmass are like porous mushrooms, if you will. While there are quote-unquote lower parts around the entire edge of Boglait, those are still hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air. Now, some of these areas are nicer than others, and they have scaffolding, and, some very crafty business folks have several quote-unquote hotel chains that revolve around staying on the side of the ledge with magically invisible floors to show you how high you are above the water. All right, now that you are familiar with this world, Ren and Friends has docked the Howling Knight in a cave after spending a long time figuring out the best way to booby-trap it for safety. You leave the ship and start making your way up a cave entrance / makeshift stairwell that will take you to the surface. Upon arriving on the surface, the sun is out and it is warm already. You'd guess it's 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning. Before you is a vast expanse of dry dirt, rock, and what looks like a desert terrain. These cool wavy heat lines hit your vision left and right all around, but if you turn all the way around behind you, a few hundred feet away from you is what presumably is the landmass edge and the ocean. And now you are caught up.
Nice.
Let's get to it.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's go search the island. Let's go find this thing we're trying to find.
But your glyph is good, right? We don't need to get out the lamps and the cannon again.
You know what? Maybe we should.
Don't worry. When I flop my glyph out, it'll stay, and it will not go until I dispel it.
Can we test it out somehow?
Yeah, go ahead. Walk over there. Be my guest.
Now, if you did that, you would have to go hundreds of feet back down this stairwell and stuff that you guys had already just come up.
So wait, what does the glyph do again, though? Did I miss that part?
It does something bad. It kills somebody or something.
It just blows up if you get near it.
I think we can call it good.
Yeah, maybe let's move off the glyph.
Let's keep going.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Fine. Let's go.
So, can I tell, is it pretty obvious? Is there any kind of path to follow necessarily? Or does it look like it's all just pretty dense?
It looks somewhat like a cross between, pictures of Mars that you've seen on the rover, and then also like those very dry lake beds, in the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movie with Danny Trejo. And like I said, in sort of, 3/4 of your vision, behind you is the ocean. Like I said, you could see that, but you realize that it's several hundred feet away to the edge of the landmass. But in front of you now, you just sort of see panoramically left to right, just looks like open desert, and far off in the distance, you see that blurry heat effect because of how dry the heat is coming up off the ground.
Okay, so we got this map. Does the map give any indication on where on this landmass it's located?
Peleus has the map.
Peleus has the map.
Yeah.
All right, let me get that map out.
All right, so you get the map out, and as you look at the map, the last time you looked at the map, it was sort of a somewhat map of the world with mainly Boglait in the upper right-hand corner from the loot layer landmass that you guys were on, and that's how you knew that you were going the correct way. Now, when you open the map, Peleus, it's almost like the ink disappears, and you see a little bit more a distinct sort of generalization of the landmass, and you all seem to be over here, and none of these are visible, and I'm just going to tell you right now, the numbers are simply for you to be able to dictate where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's not a puzzle.
Okay, good, because I was about to say, if it was a puzzle, this is going to take several episodes.
I only gave you 6 numbers this time.
Maybe slow roll the puzzles for us from now on.
Yeah. It's only so you can say we want to, if you once the time comes. As of right now, only
that
6 is sort of, you see the whole landmass, you see foliage, you see like on a basic D&D map where you would see trees and stuff, but you do see what seems to be like a little thing of buildings or something,
structure of some kind.
Yeah, and so you would assume that that is the town. If when you're looking at the map, that is your compass. So as of now, it's west-ish.
Right. Well, you think we should probably head to that building over there? You guys see that?
Wait a second, Peleus.
You will also note it's not just a singular building. Once again, for your literal translations, that I'm just marking it as towns. The ones with a few more are probably bigger towns.
Do you guys see that one singular building over there standing by itself?
I do see that one singular building standing by itself.
We should go over there.
Amongst the other singular buildings.
You don't see it on the landmass. To your what would be your left if you're facing north.
See it on the map, right?
But you see it on the map. It appears as the landmass sort of draws itself in. You're seeing the trees, and you just sort of see what looks to be a townish depiction on the map.
What kind of map is this? Because
I noticed nothing on it looks very phallic.
That is a change from our normal.
Previous maps are quite phallic.
Well, it definitely seems to be some kind of magical map.
And it's leading us there, right?
Kind of leading us to the other half of the sword.
Are we cool with that? Is this a
might
trap?
be a puzzle.
Right. Do we have to visit the cities in order?
Oh, I think so.
we only see one city on the map.
Okay.
Let's study this map for a little bit longer.
Out of game, I think we should probably go to just that. The one we can see.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we can see the rest on the map, but that one we can physically see, so we should just go there.
Is there magic words? Like, do we have to say, like, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good?
Yes, Starok, you have to say
You
something.
have to say it, yeah. Just you. Sorry, man.
I think it's something... repeat after me. I'm a dummy.
All right.
I'm a dummy.
Let's go ahead and follow the shoreline.
Yeah, let's
do it.
follow the shoreline to south to this little collection of buildings, which I'm certain it's one building, but we'll see.
Also, I don't have it completed yet fully, but I just did a rough sketch of it. The loot layer one that you guys were on, the island.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like from the top. It looks like a skull.
Oh, cool.
And so you guys came in down here, and then the nose was Camp Cacophony, and then you went up over here, and then the bridge was the loot layers in between, and then you guys came back down and around.
I mean, that's cool. Not what I'm seeing, but okay.
Looks more like ovaries.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Is that getting deleted?
I hope not. I want people to know how
off color he is.
Yeah.
Just drink your $2 Chuck.
My humor is just too advanced for this crowd. Someday you guys will be on my side.
Yeah.
My humor doesn't translate from Dwarven to...
As advanced as your Charles Shaw Shiraz wine. Okay, cool. We're going to head then to that. Along the shoreline, we're going to follow it to that town in the south.
And
Okay.
Along the way, Cinder would like to kind of pay attention to the surroundings and watch for movement.
Okay, it's a very open area. If anything, there's little rock hillsides and that sort of, I mean, if you go to like Utah and you see like those sorts of things, or like I said, smaller
really
parts
pretty.
of the Grand Canyon, it's just very rock, orangish, reddish, browns, and just very, very hot as you continue west. As you continue west, you guys are walking for several hours, and
Is it hot enough that we have to make constitution checks or disrobe?
Yes, Duroc only. Go ahead.
if I mean, it depends on how, it's definitely, in the 90s, and then I would imagine inside of your guys' clothes and stuff, you're definitely over 100 degrees in there. So you guys knowing that, you may play that as you like, but I'm not going to make you do that.
Well, I've definitely taken my overcoat off and I've slung that over my shoulder.
And now you got that sweet billowy V-neck that
And
Yamhorn got you.
Yeah, for sure.
Got some good airflow for that.
Billowy pirate shirt is open, and
I forgot about my scarf that Yamhorn got me. That hasn't come up.
and my chest is surprisingly bare.
Oh, you took off all your necklaces and stuff?
Yeah. Everything's off for now.
Okay.
Just letting it breathe.
And I feel
My
like Cinder,
half-elf body breathe.
because he's the least senior in the group, he's probably trailing behind, just trying not to rock the boat more than he already has.
Okay.
What do you think Cinder's up to back there, Ren? It seems awfully conspiratorial, doesn't it?
I think he's just following. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know about this.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Cool. So you guys continue to walk and make your way towards that place. And as you're walking, you can kind of see that the map is adjusting a little bit. It's kind of like zooming in almost. If you continue to check it, and
Cool.
Who has the map, Peleus?
I do.
All right. If you would like to make a perception check as you're looking on the map.
I do.
I can't not think of that now.
Five.
Then you notice that the map is seems to be zooming in and constantly like fading ink out and fading new ink in as you continue your journey throughout.
I'm looking at it, and then the wind blows, and it goes into my face. It's wrapped around my head.
Okay. We're going the right way.
I think we're going the right way. It's really zoomed in. Oh, wait. Nope, it's just on my face.
It just got closer. Oh, that's good. And while they're doing all this, I'm just going to be practicing like drawing my whip and then furling it back up on my hip.
Okay.
Someone
It's kinda
whip it
fiddling.
back
Some drawing,
there.
doing your
whip
quick
stuff.
draw.
Yeah,
Yeah, doing whip stuff.
practicing my tricks.
Whip it, Cinder. Whip it good.
I bet he can't even put out a candle with that whip.
Are you holding anything in your hands right now, Duroc?
Oh, yes. Please whip Duroc
Yeah.
right now.
I've got an apple. I'm like eating an apple. I'm just like,
I
if you
immediately pull out my whip, and after hearing him say that, I
All right.
try to whip that
Roll it.
apple right
Roll.
out of his hand.
Roll against his AC with whatever your normal whip stuff is.
That would be 13. Or,
Miss.
I'm sorry, 23.
oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a huge difference. What happened? What was it on like a 10 and then you just rolled it over? Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Bad
It's
math.
23.
Bad math. It was 23.
oh yeah, Cinder. What's your AC?
16.
All right. This is mainly for me. Next time we get into combat.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so Cinder, you hear that, and you're just like, "I'll show you," and you quick draw it, and
It goes straight into my mouth.
well, you
All right.
you definitely snap it in half, and it just sits there for a second and then splits. And Duroc, if you would like to make a sleight of hand to see if you drop it.
Oh, okay.
I hope it gets dusty and dirty.
9.
Yeah, you definitely dropped
Oh,
it.
actually, it's a 7.
You definitely dropped it then.
Yeah. But also, like,
So
secretly...
you see this whip go right by you, and it's like you hear the sound, whoosh, And then you're confused for a second, and then like you look back at Cinder, who's bringing the whip back and rolling back up and smirking at you. And when you look back, you see that the pieces have already left your hands. And then they hit the ground.
Duroc is secretly impressed, but out loud he's just like,
It was a bad apple anyways.
So petty. I didn't want it anyways.
I wanted you to do that.
Tasted like crap.
I'll go ahead and pick him up and wash him off and hand you half, and I take the other half.
Oh, Ren.
Thanks, Ren.
Sweetheart.
I whip it again. As soon as it gets back in his hand.
all right, we're going to be in an infinite loop of Cinder whipping our apples into smaller and smaller pieces.
Want to cast Banish on Cinder?
Banish.
This dynamic is oddly familiar.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I think it's just Caleb and Rhett playing against each other, regardless of what character Caleb is.
Yeah.
I do want it known, though, that I am impressed. Duroc is impressed.
That's good. So, Cinder, you get the odd sensation that as Duroc looked back at you, that his face seems to what for Duroc seems to lighten, and you go like, "Oh, I think I just impressed him." Yeah. And then he turns back around and keeps heading west. If you guys don't want to do anything else, if you guys want to talk about things or whatever, it's up to you.
How about a trail song? Anybody know a trail song?
I don't know any songs. Well, I do. They're just none of them are appropriate.
Those are the best kinds of trail songs.
Not these ones. These are filthy pirate songs. These will make you blush.
And I'm used to being by myself, so I don't really sing.
And I think we should all just silently pray to Ulagan as we walk. So
Yeah, we know, Ren. Yeah, we're all up to speed on your... We know your deal, yeah.
But what about a hymn to Ulagan?
no.
You must know some hymns. Surely the halfling deity likes song and good mirth.
I kick my heels together and just kind of start walking forward.
There was an attempt.
What about you, Duroc? Do you know any dwarven songs?
Of course I know dwarven songs.
Absolutely boring.
Well, actually, they do tend to drone on. They sound a little bit more like a rock slide than anything.
Right, yeah. Or like an old man slowly dying.
I mean, some old men sound like rock slides when they die, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But, dwarven songs are great, but honestly, for dwarves, they're great. Not for anybody else.
I had a feeling.
What's your favorite type of music then? You prefer elven songs or?
Well,
Are you an elf? No, you're not an elf. You're an elf, though.
I'm a half-elf.
Tread lightly.
Well, don't let Peleus hear Cinder, but elven songs have a particular beauty.
Yeah, I heard that. I think we're going to go ahead and...
You've been walking the whole time that all your shenanigans have been happening.
Whipped an apple, learned
And
about
as we get up
hymns.
to the city, I'm just like, oh, I do.
Okay, so you start to get to major outpost number 6.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, well, you would have to look at the map.
Got it.
But all of them are there are major outposts, just like there are major land masses. There are also smaller outposts along the way, for quick refueling and sorts of things. These are all the major ones because they have the quickest routes to a coastal edge to which they can ship certain goods and services off. So this is major outpost number 6, and this one deals mainly in precious metals. As you're approaching it, you notice from the outside it is very run-down, quote-unquote, town. As you hit the outskirts, you see some small goblin and human like children playing as the dust is blowing along, and there's a light breeze. Peleus Constitution check for map holding.
Constitution?
Or sleight of hand, rather.
Oh,
Oh, these wily kids.
No, it's just the wind.
Oh.
It hit him in the face earlier, so I want to see if it blows back in his face.
14.
All right, you pass. You hold on to the center of it, sort of blows back, but then you hold on to it, and you're like, and you blow it back like, it re-crinkles outwards.
Not
He's
again, wind.
used to the wind.
Yeah. And as the wind is lightly blowing through the air, you start to come up upon a road.
And the DM is prepared today. The board is flipped around. He's got clippies for maps.
Hold on one second.
With us.
I know.
All right.
He's like, I would rather be anywhere right here.
Okay.
The drive took me 90 minutes.
And
You
this is
guys
what I get.
suck at D&D.
Okay, once you enter the town, you're starting to come up through this road, I think. I can't remember exactly, but I think I wrote enter road here or something.
Yes, I see
Okay,
it.
so as you start to enter the town proper, you start to see rundown shacks and tall, multi-storied structures all throughout the outer edges. You see what seems to be a goblin in one of the taller windows looking out dressed in rags, and when it sees you, it ducks out of the window. Also, as you continue your move forward, you start to hear what you would assume is a crowd noise, as smaller than your fanfare in Tversberg, but you definitely recognize it as some sort of gathering. Now, upon entering the town square, you see a somewhat long building in the middle. Atop of it is a very large orc, flanked by guards, and he's holding a goblin by the throat, who's squirming. A large crowd, predominantly goblins, takes up the square, but you also see a smattering of other races as well, taller beings, some your height, some Durok's height, and they're pretty much all clad in rags, and they all seem to be very, very dirty. You also notice a somewhat large guard contingent surrounding the crowd and sort of the circle in and of itself, wearing a black uniform with a dragon on it that you would all recognize from Bulgurum. The orc shouts out above the crowd to silence, and he states, "This peasant stole rations, stole food, and has been harboring extra materials. Do we not give you enough? There will be punishment for this." And without a second's hesitation, as the little goblin is squirming and saying, "You're not feeding us enough. I was just trying to feed my family," you just see the large orc squeeze its hand together. You hear a snap, and the body of the small goblin goes lifeless, and he drops it in front of the tall building into the crowd. You hear an overall gasp of the crowd, and you hear a loud wailing from the front, which you would assume is probably somebody who knew this. And he screams out above the crowd again, "Let that be a lesson to anybody else who thinks that they can steal from me." He then motions to his little guys, they're smaller than him, but still rather large. So you might presume it would be a full orc. And they hop off the back, and the ranks sort of around the crowd relax a little bit. They kind of take some steps back, and people start to dissipate and go back to their shanties, essentially. And that's what you guys see.
When you say a dragon, Mark, we recognize, are we talking the red dragon or Sidset, the yellow dragon?
You recognize it as the uniforms that all of the guards were wearing that Baravin and Baramis had sent down.
Caleb remembers, but Cinder doesn't know. You
Cinder,
guys...
that's a bad dragon. It's bad
roll
numbers.
me a history check,
Yes, sir.
because you're a world traveler.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a little more reach. and
Almost
working with
a
orcs.
good roll.
Yeah.
7.
Almost.
Then it does prickle something in your mind, like you'd seen it before, but you're unsure of.
I just can't place where I saw
Yeah,
it.
you've seen tons of stuff with tons of symbols and all that kind of crud.
Peleus, do you want to check that map? I kind of don't maybe think we should hang out here too long. If we don't need to do anything here, I say we just move along.
If I get within 60 feet of the goblin, if I can, does the crowd kind of like disperse and I can get a little bit closer?
I mean, it's not dispersing really. I mean, kind of, like people are milling about and that sort of stuff, but...
Okay. Can I see that goblin?
No, you cannot.
Okay. I'm not going to push through the crowd or anything then.
I'll help you if you want.
Talk, guys.
Yeah.
I see. I kind of sense what you're doing. I'm like, you want to get closer, Ren?
Kind of want to find out if we can maybe be friends with this guy.
I help you out.
Cinder says, you guys know he's dead, right? How are you going to be friends with him?
You're trying to befriend a dead goblin.
Dead people are the best of friends.
All right,
that's sad.
I don't
real
feel
sad.
like it was his time to go to Ulagon yet. So,
okay.
if you could push the way forward, Duroc, I would
absolutely, yeah.
appreciate that.
I help make way.
All right, while
Cinder's-
you guys do that, I'm going to go ahead and talk to some of the locals and kind of see what we're dealing with here, you know? Like to be ahead of the game, you know what I mean, up here, you know? Gonna lay the land before I go in shooting stuff, you know what I mean? All right.
I don't know why that was the most Peleus thing I've ever heard.
Why don't I stick with Peleus and while you guys do this? Is that cool with everyone?
Sure.
I don't want to step on any toes. All right.
Don't worry, we're not going to make that big of a scene.
That big of a scene.
All right.
So, kind of a scene.
We're not going to make a scene, Cinder. Fine. Does that make you happy?
Sure.
We are the smallest of the group.
So yeah, I want to walk up to a local and ask him kind of like, I want to ask about the orc and like what the situation in town is and how come they're...
The political makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's in charge?
Okay. So you walk up to you just walk up to like a random goblin. And
yeah, sure.
I mean, they're the most predominant race, but I mean, like I said, there are other races. So if you want to,
yeah, I'll walk up to a goblin and excuse me, young goblin sire, or ma'am, it's hard to tell. I was curious about who exactly is in charge. I'm new to the island, if you can't tell by my accent and looks. New to the island, I don't really know who's in charge. It looks like that beastly orc man is. You got any insights for me? Maybe help a newcomer?
and yes, a little goblin turns around to you. You're sort of familiar with the size because it's not that much bigger than Ren. As far as you can tell, it just doesn't look like a bowling ball with arms and legs, so it's harder to tell like height. It might be a little bit taller, might be the same size, and it says,
Well, I'm a male goblin. Name's
Right,
name's Prullb.
Prullb. Oh, okay. Well, give me 1 second. Your name's
Prullb. Prullb.
Prullb. All right. Okay.
It's like pole with an R and then a B on the end.
Yep. Yeah, I'm tracking. All right, continue.
People always get it wrong.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Prullb. What you just witnessed here was justice according to the man that runs this town, the creature, Grag, battle
name's-
scalper.
Grag.
He's the large orc that snapped the neck of that poor goblin, but I mean, to be fair, the goblin was stealing and it makes it look bad for all of us goblins. We're just here to work. We're not here to cause an uprising. Prullb is good. If this is a trick, Prullb is a good goblin. I do.
Oh, no.
I've never seen you. Are you a spy?
No trick. No.
Cinder
No,
Cinder
not a
puts up his
spy.
hand just to indicate, hey, Peleus.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Peleus, what languages do you speak?
Me?
Yeah. You can tell me out of character if you want, or in character.
Depending on the day, 2, 3, none. Really depends.
Does today feel like a 1 day or a 2 day or 3 day?
Depending on how many drinks I've had and how many I remember.
Let's see. I've got like common and elvish, a little bit of dwarvish, a little bit of draconic, abyssal. Actually, that was a fun summer. So yeah,
Dwarvish.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And I look over to Prullb. And in a language that apparently Peleus does not understand, I say, "You're safe. You can talk to us. We are travelers on a mission."
What language are you speaking?
Goblin, specifically.
Okay.
I'm trying to relate to him in his native tongue, so he feels more comfortable and can trust us.
You guys planned this.
So, I guess, I'm trying to do a persuasion, and I say,
Okay.
you can trust us. What's going on here?
Sure. Yeah. So you're trying to persuade him?
Yeah.
All right. Well, roll it for it. Was that a?
It's just 12.
All right. Prullb somewhat visibly relaxes, but also is curious as to why you're speaking, and how you're speaking to him in the tongue.
You both to that. You both see that my mouth kind of lights up with a soft blue hue, kind of a glow.
Oh yeah, the liquor over here.
Oh yeah! What a freak!
Screw you, buddy.
Peleus is just staring at him with his eyes squinted, like
it's
Gross.
It happened.
You're weird.
Right as I started speaking Goblin too. My mouth kind of cools with the blue light, and then I start speaking Goblin.
Okay, Prullb. I'm gonna roll something for Prullb to see if he recognizes the tongue or if he's too befuddled. Well, with a natural 20.
Oh, geez. Can you tell me about my tongue, please?
Prullb knows all.
Prullb looks at you, and like I said, is kind of like confused. But then as you continue to talk, he relaxes a little bit. But he is staring he is like, if you're talking, he's not looking at you in the eye. He's just looking you right in the mouth, and he's very like,
my eyes are up here, Prullb.
Yeah, he's very, very confused by it. But he's listening to it. And he's like,
It's not often someone like you can speak like us.
Hmm.
All right, well, I suppose I can trust you. I'm now Prullb, you're going to regret this. You're going to regret it. So, what is it? Let's see. What were we talking about? Prullb forgets.
Who was that orc, and why are you here to work?
Greg.
Where do you come from originally?
Well, as I said, that's Greg Battle Scalper.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the contingent of soldiers that were sent here many years ago, 50 or so years ago, and Prullb comes from here. This is many generations of goblins Prullb has been a part of. He sort of perks up and sticks his chin. I have people that go back to the first generation that were on the landmass, of course. Wow. But about 50 years ago or so, men or beings, creatures with that visage on their chest showed up, and like they were going to help us, and we're all going to get along, and all they did was slowly take away our rights and have been having us mine the island like normal. But now Prullb cannot do it. I've already told you too much, and he gets really uncomfortable again. He starts to look around, and he looks like he wants to get out of there.
Come on, Prullb a little deeper. Come on. You can do it.
Episode title.
Prullb a little deeper.
Prullb a little deeper.
That's it.
Everyone's going to look at him and be like, what? And then now they're just like, oh, I get it.
Oh, they are stupid.
There's a universal groan heard across the... Prullb, I can tell that this is not easy for you to talk about. I just want to let you know, if you guys need support, I think me and my friends would be happy to support you. And I just have two questions.
You're going you and your friends, you're going to This is a landmass.
Right?
There's thousands of them. What are you going to do?
Okay, you answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you how many you think there are. 2, so you're telling me this land is rightfully yours?
Yeah, this is the goblins. Goblins originally, and in their works before they became this somewhat mutated thing. But that's, lore for a different time, of course, from thousands of years ago. But we goblins and orcs, we're not that dissimilar. But yes, there's been, ever since the original reign of Zarvog, at the end of the 4th generation, beginning of the 5th, it's been a very, very rough time for goblins. And as I stated, about 50 years ago, these people showed up that they're going to help us, but all they've done is enslave us. And once again, Prullb has said too much. I have to go.
Wait, Prullb.
I have to check on my family. And he
Starts to make his way through the crowd and leaves.
We go for the next person nearby.
Excuse me, you don't also happen to be named Prullb.
Okay, so time is of the essence to keep this.
Okay, so we now cut over to you guys starting to make your way through the crowd. As you can see, the crowd is sort of standing around, like in a panic, still from, gossiping, that sort of thing. And the guards are starting to come in and all right, but, trying to disperse people, shoo them out of there and, break it up. And, let's see here. Let's see how good my guards are. Oh, really good. Okay. So as you guys make your way to the crowd, by the time you get there are 2 guards that are sort of telling this very distraught and wailing goblin who's holding the body of the one that you saw its neck broken to move it along, or he would be next.
How badly do we stick out here? Is it all goblins, or are there a few
As I've
other
already
people?
stated, it's a majority goblin, but there are plenty of other races sort of throughout. All the guards aren't necessarily all orcs, but they are very, very big, brutish characters. But you definitely don't look like you're covered in dirt and rags and look like you've been working in a mine for your entire life.
Okay, so we're not sticking out super bad.
No, you are sticking out super bad.
Well,
I'm going to take that as no.
I think Ren, being the same height as goblins, maybe blends in a little better than me with
Definitely
my
better than
sword
you,
and
but
gleaming
there's no
armor.
one else here that has a nice black dragon hide cloak that is shimmering in the sunlight, and a dwarf with crested blood on his beard all over the place,
And a tiger
and
pelt.
wearing armor with a shield and sword. Everyone here very much looks like a servant, and the people no one here has weapons except for the guards. Everyone else, as I said, is in rags and is dirty. You guys definitely stick out if you're going to get close to those guards.
Don't worry, Ren, I got your back.
I feel pretty exposed, though. If I can be within 30 feet of that goblin, I want to try one of my new things.
Oh.
And use Spare the Dying as a bonus action from 30 feet away.
All right. I'm going to say, as far as how long it took you to get there through the crowd.
Fair enough.
Let's see here.
What is, just for my curiosity, what is Spare the Dying? Because I heard it on a podcast, somebody else was going to use it.
And for our listeners' curiosity.
It just makes it so they don't have to make death saving throws anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Well, they're not making a death saving throw. They are dead.
They're just dead. Okay. It was worth a shot.
I mean, if I wasn't clear, he snapped the neck of this goblin and then dropped it. So if it brings people back.
Anybody have mend?
I actually have wish, so I can just go ahead and just wish for him alive.
Duroc is going to go ahead and just reset the spinal column that was snapped.
Well, if you're going to get in there and try to interact with these goblins, you're going to have to deal with the guards.
I'm going to go ahead and grab Duroc. I was like, okay, it's not worth it. Let's go find out what we can. I don't want to really get in a confrontation with these orcs.
And Duroc
Just
already has a hand placed on his sword, and he's like, "Are you sure?"
Because I will destroy everyone.
I do get the impression that these orcs are not great people, and we might have to kill them later. But
And also,
Okay.
and also, I would say that you were observant enough when you first entered town to know that you're not dissimilar to when Baravin was in Bulgurum, but there's enough here that it would be a challenge if you started a fight.
I mean, we won that one, Ren. We won that one.
Only because Peleus took out 35 of them with lightning.
And he's just over there.
so I'm just gonna motion for you to kind of start heading towards Peleus and Cinder, and
All right.
and on the way I'm gonna be
So
like,
we regroup.
yeah, I
Okay.
think
Duroc's dealing with some personal baggage, but he sees how insistent you are.
what we need to do is find out where Sitset, like her lair was or is, and
Well,
maybe that'll give us a direction.
we should figure out what they're mining for so much.
Gold. Let's get rich.
So, hey guys,
Duroc just immediately character changes. Well, screw this. These last year and a half, time to make investments,
Yeah.
baby.
Look, we already time
Expand my
traveled.
portfolio.
We got a lot of time on our hands. Let's just get rich. We can do it.
so we had an interesting conversation with one of the locals here. His name is Prullb.
Okay, so you make your way back?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys had entered in through here. Duroc and Ren had sort of gone to that middle circular thing, and then you guys are sort of back amongst the the backish
Yeah.
thing where these
Sure.
two.
Why not?
Okay.
Somewhere familiar from when we came in, and he had some interesting things to say, but was really reluctant. Apparently, these orcs have a pretty heavy thumb on the population here, and my understanding is that the goblins are the rightful owners of this land, and they came in about 50 years ago. I recognize the dragon on their armor. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yeah.
I recognize it, but I don't remember where.
What is it again?
And Ren, you would, just so you don't ever have to ask me, what do I know about this landmass and goblins? You would know, Ren, the basic history that I already gave about this land. You would know that this seems, not that you've ever been here before, but you would definitely think that this seems weird. One, the police state that it seems to be in, but also that the whole thing of like orcs and goblins, they were for a long time, and then with Zarvog and all that sort of stuff, the orcs kind of started changing in a way that they were, and so Yuri would be more along the bloodline of the original sort of orcs that were here and were not bred to be fucking savages.
A-holes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll relate that about.
Okay.
I've read these things.
Okay. And specifically the dragon insignia that I'm seeing everywhere.
What is that again?
I'm asking you
Oh.
because
Well, Ren and Peleus.
it triggers a memory, but I don't remember what it is.
Supposedly Duroc remembers too, but I...
It's
Yeah.
the Zarvog dragon. I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, from
Wrong.
Yeah, I remember that.
Boromir and all that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to
it's
tell me that.
Boromir?
Or Baravin.
Baravin.
I get in trouble when I bring up Lord of the Rings.
Sorry.
One demerit.
Shut up.
I hope I don't get 5 demerits.
His reach has apparently been here for at least 50 years. It kind of sounds like he's.
Is this from like Bravik or
Yeah, worthy.
That's the impression I'm getting.
the same crew? I thought
They're apparently digging for something.
I heard the wild stallions.
Maybe more dragon eggs.
I heard the wild
Dragon
stallions
eggs.
took care of things out there.
I too heard about the wild stallions.
This is what it looks like.
That's epic.
Ooh, cool.
Dude, the DM's on point today. Let's just point that out.
This is what it looks like. This is what you remember. The dragon facing the opposite way with the circle and sort of rounded tip stars, and then a sword going up through the bottom with like a snake's head and wrapping around.
Does that look like Duroc's sword?
No.
No, not
Okay.
at all.
All right. Well, I think we should figure out what they're digging for and where they're digging.
I always like to go to bars or inns to kind of get that kind of information.
Now you're speaking my language, Ren. Finally, we're on the same page. The Oolagon stuff is weird, but you think alcohol? Yes, I'm on board.
And honestly,
a little alcohol helps the Oolagon go down. So it's
creepy, but okay.
and honestly,
Very
calling you
culty,
Mary
very
Poppins.
culty, but all right.
Yeah.
almost having to kill all the orcs in this square is thirsty work.
So that was another thing that Prullb
In
brought
your
up.
head, I'd like to think that Duroc was just like in his head. He like looked up to the sky for a second, and in his head, he was like, just has this fantasy of
Daydreaming.
him just destroying everyone, and then like everyone hoisting him up as their hero. He's just crowd surfing across all these goblins,
Duroc.
and then it cuts
And
back, and Paley's like Duroc.
Yeah,
Duroc. He's
slap
like,
across the face. Snap out of it. So Prullb actually mentioned. I could see you were getting a bloodlust in those eyes. He mentioned that this whole island is overrun with like thousands of.
It's not
these
an island;
guys.
it's a landmass.
This landmass, which
Continent.
technically is still an island, just bigger.
I would say that like
roasted.
I would say that like I would equate like where Peleus had a solo adventure, small island. The loot layer, while bigger, still more of an island. This is
Mainland.
This is at least like what would be a state here in America. Like
Technically, Australia's an island.
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't really what's Dawania just one big island?
In the cosmos.
Yeah.
And these are
Aren't we all
The
one
pale
big
blue dot.
island?
flying through space.
Flying through space
According
and
to
time.
some dwarven philosophers, each man is his own island.
Yeah.
So
Oh, woof.
The great
think I've got
Paulus
poetry on this.
Simonius.
Okay, so
So anyway, there's thousands of these guys. I think you got to chill. We got to lay low maybe a little bit here.
I could at least get several of them. How many can you guys
Okay.
take?
Ren, Peleus, I'm looking to you guys to help me rein this guy in. I don't know your dynamic.
Can
that
we
much, but
please just go to the bar? It's fine.
Yeah.
The bloodlust is.
Let's
abated.
stay to the goblins though. That they seem reticent but friendly. We just got to make sure that we stay on their good side.
All right. I mean, all right. Yeah.
Are you guys
We
cool
don't
with that?
we don't need to make any big scenes, Duroc.
That's what I
okay.
Let's get
Well,
our
I've already
information and
agreed
move on.
with this. That's
yeah,
fine.
Duroc, you really need to cool it.
But I see you
Okay.
drawing your sword right now.
It's like
While you
half out,
say
I'm like,
that.
I already agree. Oh.
I'm sorry, habits.
All right,
we
to
go
the
to the bar.
tavern.
Okay, so you make your way to the bar, and when you get inside, this is probably the most rundown hovel that you've ever seen. It's still, there's no floor to it other than the ground underneath you. It's a bar in and as much as that there is like sort of a structure in the middle where there's bottles like kind of like on a table. It's a little square sort of structure, and there's like one entrance into it, and so it just sort of is right in the middle. And then on the inside, there's just like a table. There's a smattering of tables. There's a couple of like just random, makeshift, like along the outer edges, like pews, if you will. That's the only word I can think of. Like longer benches and that sort of thing. But it looks very haphazard, as do most of the buildings. Whereas Camp Cacophony looked like sort of a bazaar of tents, and this looks like what wood is around here and how can we build something with it type of a construction. There is a bartender in there. You also notice in the back left corner of the bar is the main huge orc and his two compatriots just having a laugh and drinking. And there's no one else in the bar besides you guys, the bartender, and those three.
You guys maybe want to go somewhere else?
I see the orcs and I'm like, I think we should maybe try another.
I think this
Another
bar's
spot.
fine.
All right, one drink and let's go. One drink. All right.
So how many orcs are over there?
The huge main one and the other two that were like standing sort of behind him when they were on top of the structure.
Okay. Okay.
I already see the thoughts in Duroc's brain.
No, he kept his composure.
Right, but
He didn't
He
even
made a
look at
funny
them.
noise.
He didn't even look at them.
he was like, "Yeep." and I know what that means.
These guys will have a lot of information for us, I feel.
Yeah.
If there's
Let's
a
just
way
play
we
it
can
right.
convince them, we're just kind of like huddled, like just outside the door after we looked in. We could convince them that maybe we're like investors and we're looking to.
I have gold, so
we got some money. We could maybe just.
Do we need to have fake names or anything like that? Because I feel like
they might know about Ren and Friends.
All right. What's your fake name, Cinder? Oh, come on now.
Steven.
How about Yamhorn?
I don't approve of that. You just hear us
just
talking
made that
about our
up.
friend
What are you
who's gone?
Oh, that's right.
That's really deceptive.
And then
Prullb.
I'll remind you in the last session as you guys were sailing, Cinder also tried to convince you that he came up with the Bulgurum.
Oh yeah,
I did.
He's gaslighting me.
So if we talk to them, maybe ask them what they're mining for out here. Maybe tell them we're investors.
It seems.
we can get the information we're looking for without having to fight or kill anyone.
Peleus, do you want to take lead on this? Because I feel like they have a history with.
Okay, but when I take lead, it usually ends in flames.
Look, if somebody's
All right.
going to take the lead, it's going to be me. It's
Hold
going to be
on.
Ren.
Don't
Ren
worry.
can take the lead. He's very
I got
level-headed.
this. I got this. All right, here we go.
You sure
All
you
right.
got it?
I'll be your hype.
I'm gonna walk over to the orcs and I'm gonna say, "Hello, fine chaps. I'm a new lad here on the island. Name's Peleus Earnearth. I'm a wizard, a pirate. You might have heard of me. My tales, they travel wide. Anyways, I'm looking for some investments. I hear that you guys are entrenched in something pretty good here. Got the scoop from someone? You guys want to let old Peleus in on something here?
And it goes deathly quiet in there, even though there's only 4 people in there besides you guys. And the big orc looks up at you, and he looks at you and goes,
Peleus.
Oh, see, you have heard of me. I told you I'm well known.
Cinder
throughout the
takes
world.
2 steps backwards.
Yeah, we all just like, uh-oh.
And the rest of Ren and Friends.
Ren steps forward for sure.
Oh, you've heard of my friends, too. That's fantastic.
He said,
Anyways,
We're Peleus and Friends now.
And the rest of Ren and Friends. I was wondering if you were going to show up.
and that's where we leave it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for tuning in. It's been so fantastic. It's been a little over a month since we all got together and played, but for you, it's only been a week. Please, hit up the Patreon, hit, like, review, subscribe, and all the social medias, and all. You leave us a review on iTunes.
Please.
I have been your host and DM for Season 3 in this episode, Bentley Michaels. To my right, we have...
Caleb is Cinder Darkloft.
Dash is Peleus.
Red is Duroc.
Milo is Ren.
Thank you for joining us around our proverbial podcast table, and grab your swords and keep on adventuring.